Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My heartful namaskarams to each and every member of the audience here, the great august members of Tattvāloka, my dear recently established friend Rohit Vishwanath. I happened to read one of his writings, and that's when I connected with him and wanted to know more about what's happening here, and invariably this came up. So I have been of late taking the art to mostly educational institutions where I am correlating the science of Tantra, which has been my thesis, the Yantra, Mantra, Tantra, along with its correlation to Nāṭya. And of course, in Chennai also, I have had opportunities to present in the past. So this time, the topic is rousing the Atmarama through dance. I could not find it very much different, except for the fact that here I would have to repeatedly remind myself and the spectator that we are all on a journey to discover Atmarama within us. We as artists make art trips to several parts of the world. We are all fortunate that the art is being very much recognized in very many pockets where children are learning Bharatanatyam today, but continuously focusing on those journeys without making the real true journey within is, during this time of my career, becoming totally redundant. So last 10 years, the research has opened up this facet where I have felt that one needs to make a very strong journey within. And this is what Tantra study can help you in. What are the elements within you which invoke the emotions through the dance and connect you to the audience? So all together, we are in that web, the magical web called rasa. So before I go further with a PowerPoint presentation on this topic, I wanted to invoke the blessings of the Adi Devata Sri Ganesha. I have chosen Prabho Ganapatim, a Tamil hymn. I'm sure the erudite audience of Chennai does not need much description on it, but kindly watch out that I am trying to bring in the tattva of Ganesha, being the mūlādhāra adhipatī, and why we pray to him, the one with the large elephant head of wisdom, so that we are able to overcome the limitations which bind us to the earth, the moola, and we are on an ascent to the higher levels, and dance is one such journey. In the past, there was no Ganesha. In the Nāṭya Śāstra also, there is no mention of him per se, but this was brought in much later. But there was always a worship to the devatas of each and every part of yourself. The devata cakras used to be worshipped in the invocation and dance. So now, Ganesha, Prabho Ganapatim first. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now to the PowerPoint, please. I'll keep showing, so you go to the next slide. Next one, please. This is, Rousing the Atmarama through dance. Further. This is a humble prayer to the parents of the world, the parents of Ganesha, whom we just now saw, how Śiva intervenes to add consciousness to the Prakriti which Ambal had created. And that is exactly how we are all made. So, Vāg Artha Vigasamprukto, as Kalidasa says, there is no word without meaning. There is no meaning without word. So the parents of the world who are inseparable, we bow down to. And the other prayer I chose today was what Dikshitar sings in one of his kritis, is the dance of the ultimate silence within you. So he prays to that ajapa nadanam, which Tyagaraja Swami is supposed to be doing, as he's breathing the dance that keeps the whole cycle of creation, sustenance, and destruction together. So the mystic dance, the prayer to Lord Tyagaraja. Next one. Nāṭya Śāstra. So through dance, since I'm trying to connect to Atmarama, in the first chapter itself, there is a reference to Brahmansa Sankalpa, and later on he speaks of Brahma. So this art has descended from the eternal consciousness. It was transferred into the very efficient hands of Bharata Muni, and through Bharata Muni, it came to all our mortals on earth. And we should also remember that the first students of dance were the Apsaras, like Ramba and Urvashi. We have to give them the due respect that they were the first dancers, the celestials, who were sent on this holy mission to show how dance has emerged, to reflect the world drama through the stage, which is what has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Incorporating the trikā stages, Bharata Muni is called as a trikā sutrakara, the one who had the philosophy of trikā śaivisim, Kashmir śaivism, not different from Śaiva Siddhanta of our south, in which the three aspects of bharaṇa, the projection of the universe, vāmana, the maintenance bharaṇa, projection of vāmana, and withdrawal rāvaṇa. He has given the three divine aspects of this sadhana. Taurya Trikā Sutra believes that the nara, like in Siddhanta, is always on a quest to unite with Śiva, the pati. But who takes him it's the path of Śakti or Pasha. So each and every level is overcome till you reach the goal of Śiva. The next one. The difference of Yogaja Marga with Vedanta Marga typically, or Viveka Marga typically, is that in this world drama that is enacted in Nāṭya, the trikā, which is a tantric philosophy, believes that the relative reality which is portrayed through the changing world drama on stage, does exist as much as the absolute reality. But from the point of view of the absolute, the relative has its relative significance alone, but it is not completely denounced as mithya. So that is why every characterization is enlivened and your roles are given that much of involvement as if in reality it does exist. So this is a very subtle difference between a completely yogaja marga of union of Shiva Shakti and the Viveka marga where Shakti or Maya doesn't have any existence per se. So the next one, as I already said, that the philosophy, which is also again been earmarked by Tirumular in Tirumandiram, a similar tantric treatise which talks of Anbe Shivam, gives us a very deep insight on this dance, which is the level of nada and nādānta, which is the goal for every sadhaka, both who is a performer and also the spectator or any sadhaka who wants to reach the higher level of consciousness. The highest goal is that dance of Shiva which is experienced in the nādānta. Chidambaram Natarajar, the posture itself signifies the nādānta, which is nādānta beyond any articulated sound. It's deep silence, but all the time vibrating with the potency to create. And that is what today perhaps science also discovers and calls it as the God particle. The next one, Shiva and Shakti in the dance, completely fused. We as artists give equal importance to the right and the left right from the time we pick up our early lessons. The right is the one which dictates in the beginning and the left follows suit. When we are dancing, it is sometimes the right hand and the left leg, which is true of perhaps all the classical performing arts, not only Bharatanatyam, and some of the instruments as well. So there is an equal balance of the right and left, so much so that one cannot distinguish at all as this is my right hand or that is my left hand. And all the polar extremes are completely removed. So this right and left infusion, please try to understand what I'm trying to get at, is the left. If you follow the scriptures, say the left, the vāma bhaga, is matter, and the right is the dakshina marga. So the dakshina, we give importance to the right, but the vāma is equally in action. So there is this blend of vāma and dakshina all the time. So much so that there is no negativity at all within us. So there is, when you do a character with all the negative attributes as well, that also is sublimated, because all these are also limitations which bind you to differences. So when you get into the higher level of a tantric practice of dance, there is nothing which is taboo, nothing which is ugly or grotesque. And that is why we have our Shiva dancing on the cremation ground as the symbolism, the one with all the serpents around, totally the hair let loose, and someone we get totally awed by looking at him, unlike the Vedic god of Dakshinamurti where everything is in place. So this means that in Ardhanarishwara, which is true of all of us in the subtle level, we have the man and the woman within us equally. And that comes into play during the dance. So the more and more you are into that sadhana, you will be able to overcome the limitations and the feeling that I am a woman who has these conditions in me, or this taboo in me, or I am a man who has to think in this manner alone. So these are all limitations. When you come to the subtle level, the limitations which is established on the social front also in the gross level will be completely gone. So this is what is the beauty of the dance, because in dance we are physically getting into the character. It is not sitting in one place and doing that japam or the mantra or the singing. So there is this externalization, in a way a catharsis, which removes all these shackles, and you have the right and the left beautifully integrated in you, which takes you much more closer to Shiva and Shakti vibration, which is very active in each and every one of us. The next one. So the earlier slide also says that the dance of Shiva and Shakti, not only the 3 cycles, but the fourth is that the fourth point of reference for the dance of Shiva and Shakti is that of ignorance and the final anugraha, which removes all the ignorance or the ones that have a shackle in front of you. For example, when your Annamaya kosha is binding, you will not be able to go to the next level. Then you remove that kosha and you get into the Jnanamaya kosha. And then you go into the Pranamaya kosha, and then the Jnanamaya kosha. And then the Anandamaya kosha. So this is what happens at each and every level when you are getting rid of that which binds you and go to the physical, to the emotional, to the psychical, and finally to the metaphysical level of the Natya. You will be able to understand that this entire dance of the cosmos, which is vibrating all the time with the 5 functions of Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Tirodhana, and Anugraha, is very much evident in front of you that this dance on stage is the dance which represents the entire 5 cycles. And this Ananda is realized within you through the movement within your subtle levels from the Nabhi, as I spoke of subtle body a little while ago, Nabhi to Hrit to Kantha to Rasana. That's what even a great saint poet Tyagaraja says, that when you are connecting with the dance, a time comes when you feel the vibration when I did the mūlādhāra, how the mūlādhāra, the lower ones get controlled or opened up. And then the vibration moves from the next level and reaches right up to the mind level and the consciousness level. So this you will be able to understand a little clearer when I go to the next slides. Thank you. Next one. Now I come to Atmarama, so much so for the typical trikā philosophy of Nāṭya, and I will continue with that a little later. Lord Rama stands for the ideal in dharma, a form of the all-pervading supreme consciousness, and resides as Atmarama, the self. Ramanama, as we all know, is a Taraka mantra, the cure for the disease called samsara. The Sthala Purana of Kashi states that Shiva whispers the Rama mantra in the ears of all the deceased there. One in nāṭyopāsanā is tasting one's own essential beatitude, the Atmarama, beyond samsara. Rasa, which is the beatitude, the technical term given rasa, the most popular term today in aesthetics in the world across is rasa. It is truly single, and although is colored by vibhavas and anubhavas, recognizes and remains itself aham idam. Now, aham idam is the term used by the great tantric yogi commentator of Nāṭya Śāstra called Abhinavagupta. Rasa is the goal of any dance enterprise. You understand that, I'm sure. Rasa is the goal of any performing art. Even in music, it is rasa. You close your eyes and you're able to taste that divinity. You don't have to really open your eyes and watch something. There are people who enjoy rasas who may be having problems with the physical. They can't hear well, but they can see a dance spectacle and still enjoy the rasa. So this rasa is something very innate in us. That's why Bharata is given that term. Rasa is something which we're all born with. It's an Ayurvedic commonly used term because that is what you recognize at the time of birth itself when you have the mother's milk, for example, for the first time. And that is something which you leave last. So when this rasa is so strong in you, you're not able to relate to it and connect to it and enjoy that bliss in this world of frenzy, because we're all the time doing some action or the other, taking care of ourselves or a usual chores that we do on a daily basis. Why rasa is given this special importance by Bharata, he says, or Abhinavagupta, when he explains it, is that it is equal, as people say, to Brahman Aswada, but yet it is different from that religious mystic experience. It has its own importance in the atmosphere of the stage itself, where the entire world spectacle is brought to life over there. So that is why when you are, for example, watching even a movie, and you relate with those characters, you shed tears. But do you go back home crying? No. What happens to you is you're very happy that you have shed tears. So this is what Abhinavagupta says is rasa is truly single. Leave alone all the other navarasas, or at the end of it, at the end of the play, what truly remains in you is the sweet nectar of rasa, which is single, that I have relished something which I can relate to as something very much inherent in me. Now, what takes you to that rasa is the signs before your eyes, like the vibhavas and anubhavas and all that. So that is why you have something like the sthayi bhavas, which says there is Shringara on stage. The Rati says there is Shringara on stage. You can recognize it. You don't need to know what is love, what is anger, what is fear, because you already know it. All of us have those sthayi bhavas within us. We don't need to be taught as this is fear. Even a child can tell you that a villain like Ravana needs to be punished, because the moment he sees it, he can recognize there is a bad character. So even moral lessons are very much in you. What the dramatic spectacle does is it takes you to that single aham idam in you through the signs of various bhavas, vyabhichari bhavas or sanchari bhavas or sattvika bhavas, and you relish that feeling that you and the artist and the musician and the composer and the poet all are actually in that one common sphere of rasa. So this is the goal of any Nāṭya. Nāṭya dance was always a part of drama earlier in the ancient times. Later it split in the medieval times and got its own importance as a separate performing art on stage. And then, as you all know, the history of Sadir or then Bharatanatyam and coming to the temples and then coming here. All along, what has not changed is that the goal of the enterprise is to establish rasa. The same with the music. So for example, in music, you don't even have the lyrics before you. Or in nritta, there is no lyrics at all. When we're doing so many jatis, or you see a fast dance on stage, but you feel that rhythm connects to you immediately, because that also brings you to that same rasa of aham idam, of I am this. So you dissolve from the world of poetry, you dissolve and come to that single point where there is absolute vibrant silence. So that dhvani, which you can hear in you in silence, in meditation, anahata dhvani, is what connects you to this Atma Rama as well. What is Atma Rama? You start singing Rama Jabam, Ramanabam, Rama Stotras, so many. But why Rama specially we have taken? World across. Because Rama, 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 Rama. It is coined out of both Panchakshara and Ashtakshara. The most delightful, the most beautiful, the most enjoyable, the sweetest Rama. Ramate, the one who makes you delightful. So that mantra makes you connect. After a while, the sound is not heard and spoken, the sound is lip-synced, the next level, and afterwards the sound just is meditated upon. So what happens is, as you say in Lalita Sahasranamam, we just had the Navaratri season. We have so many stotras which keep on reverberating the same truth, is that Brahma Granthi Vibhedini, Rudra Granthi Vibhedini, mūlādhāram, from this chakra I ascend, I remove the shackles of that which binds me. I go to the next level. At the same time, on the external level, what I am continuously talking as Vaikhari, I get into the Madhyama, the whisper, from the spoken to the whisper. Then I go to the Pashyanti, where I remain as thought. And then I am able to reach to Para. That's the meaning of Ambal. So the journey is also set by Rama, by Shakti. And that journey, that mantra japa, takes you to that same sweetness. That is why Bharata says in dance, the spectator as well as the dancer, none of them should have any conditions of mind and body. You park everything outside and come to the stage spectacle. You are on that journey of the same ascent, the arohanam.